Look at her, so shameless, always dressing half naked, chasing men for money. What a useless girl. Chiamaka, why are you living this street life? Why can't you just become a good girl? But let me ask you something. What if the person you are mocking is only doing what they can to survive? What if behind that lifestyle is a pain you don't understand? This story will teach you why we must stop laughing at people, because everybody has a hidden battle. In the busy streets of Asaba, Delta State, almost everybody knew Chiamaka. But the truth is, they didn't know her. They only knew the version of her that life created. Chiamaka was just 23 years old, but she had already become the talk of the town. She wore short skirts, tight tops, heavy makeup, and her hair was always changing colors. Today red, tomorrow blonde, next week purple. She lived in a small room behind Mama Ifunaya's shop, close to the main market. During the day, people whispered when she passed. At night, she walked around looking for men who would pay her. Even when elders saw her, she didn't hide. She smoked freely, as if she didn't care what anybody thought. In Asaba, mothers used Chiamaka as a warning. Don't be like that girl. Read your books, stay in school, don't end up like Chiamaka. Market women laughed whenever she walked by. See her, no shame, no future, just a lost girl. Even young secondary school girls looked down on her. They felt proud. They believed education alone would protect them from ending up like her. And Chiamaka, she never fought them. She would simply walk past, face straight, pretending the insult didn't enter her body. But inside, every word was cutting her like a blade. There was a time Chiamaka was just a small girl with big dreams. She was raised by her mother alone. Her father disappeared before she was even born. The moment he heard Chiamaka's mother was pregnant, he ran away and never returned. Chiamaka's mother struggled. She sold fruits by the roadside. She washed clothes for people. She did any small job to survive. When Chiamaka was 7, she started primary school, and she was brilliant. Teachers said she was sharp and fast. But everything changed when she was in primary 4. Her mother became sick. At first, it looked like small sickness, coughing, weakness, constant tiredness. But the sickness became worse, and there was no money for hospital, no family members to help, no one. Then one morning, Chiamaka woke up at 11 years old and found her mother lifeless on the mat. Chiamaka cried until her eyes swelled. Neighbors helped bury her mother in a cheap grave, but after the burial, everybody moved on, and Chiamaka was left behind. She stopped going to school. No school fees, no food, no rent. Soon, she was chased out of the room. At 14, she learned how to steal. At 16, someone introduced her to the easy money lifestyle. Chiamaka was hungry, she was tired, she had suffered too much. So she said yes, and little by little, she became the Chiamaka everybody in Asaba now mocked. The same women mocking her had daughters. Daughters in university, daughters studying nursing, accounting, law, education. One of them was Emeka, Mrs. Emeka's daughter, smart and beautiful. Another was Ujungwa, the teacher's daughter, quiet, prayerful, and well-behaved. Everybody believed those girls would make it easily, and they believed Chiamaka was already finished. But life doesn't always follow people's expectations. One hot afternoon, Chiamaka sat outside Mama Ifunaya's shop, smoking, watching people pass. Then, a black car pulled up. A tall man stepped out, well-dressed, clean, expensive-looking. He approached Mama Ifunanya. Please, I'm looking for number 47 Riverbank Road. I've been driving around and I'm lost. Mama Ifunanya shook her head. I don't know that area well. The man sighed in frustration. Then Chamaka stood up. I know that place, she said. The man looked at her. He noticed her outfit, her makeup, the cigarette. But he also noticed something else. A human being offering help. Can you show me? He asked. It's hard to explain, but if you give me a ride, I can take you there. After thinking for a moment, he nodded. Okay, get in. Chamaka entered the car. It was the kind of car she had only seen in movies. Leather seats, cold AC, clean smell. As they drove, the man asked her name. Chamaka, she replied. My name is Obina. I'm from Lagos. I came for a business meeting. In less than 15 minutes, Chamaka led him to the correct address. There, number 47, she pointed. Obina smiled. Thank you. He brought out money to give her, but Chamaka paused. For the first time in years, she felt tired of collecting money from men. So she shook her head. No, it's fine. I just helped you. Obina was surprised. He stared at her again, like he was seeing her properly for the first time. At least allow me to buy you lunch, he said. Chamaka wanted to refuse, but hunger reminded her she hadn't eaten since yesterday, so she agreed. At the restaurant, Obina ordered food for them. Rice, chicken, drinks. They ate and talked. Obina spoke about his work, importing goods, business stress, life in Lagos. Chamaka listened quietly. Then he asked gently, Do you have family? Chamaka swallowed. No. My mother died when I was 11, and I never knew my father. Obina's face softened. I'm sorry, he said, and Chamaka knew he meant it. Something about his kindness cracked the hard shell she had built. She began to talk. She told him about her mother, about school, about hunger, about being alone. She didn't even mention the street life, but Obina didn't need her to explain everything. He could already see. Before Obina left for his meeting, he asked, Can I have your number? I'd like to talk to you again. Chiamaka gave him, thinking he would forget. But that evening, her phone rang. It was Obina, and he kept calling every day for weeks, then months. And the strangest part, he never demanded anything from her. No hotel, no dirty talk, no disrespect, just conversation, just kindness, just genuine interest. One day, Obina said something that made Chiamaka cry. Chiamaka, I know the kind of life you've been living. You don't have to explain it, but I want you to know you deserve better. I want to help you start again. Chiamaka cried like a child that night because nobody had ever looked at her and seen hope. Obina began supporting her financially, not to buy her body, but to rebuild her life. Chiamaka stopped going out at night. She stopped smoking. She began dressing more decently. She moved into a better room. People noticed, but instead of being happy for her, many still judged her. She has finally found one rich man to sponsor her. They didn't know the truth. After about 6 months, Obina came to Asaba again. He took Chiamaka out to a quiet restaurant. Then he held her hands and said, Chiamaka, I love you. I know your past. I know your struggles. But I also know your heart. I want to marry you. Chiamaka froze. She couldn't believe it. She cried and said, You don't know everything. I've done things I'm ashamed of. I have no education, no family. People will laugh at you. But Obina replied, I don't care what people say. Your past is not your identity.
What matters is who you choose to become from today. When the news spread, the whole city shook. Chiamaka, that street girl, married to a rich Lagos businessman. Market women gossiped day and night. Some said it was juju, some said it wouldn't last, some said the man didn't know her past. But Obinna did something nobody expected. He came for proper introduction. He paid bride price. Even though Chiamaka had no family, he made sure everything was done with honor. The church was full. Even the people who once mocked her came to watch. Chiamaka entered wearing a beautiful white gown. Her makeup was soft and clean. Her hair was elegant. And for the first time, she looked like a woman who had hope. Obinna stood at the altar looking at her like she was treasure. The pastor preached about mercy, second chances, and God's ability to restore broken lives. Some people in the congregation felt uncomfortable because the message was hitting their hearts. After the wedding, Chiamaka moved to Lagos. Obinna enrolled her in adult education classes. She improved her writing and reading. Then, he helped her open a small boutique. Chiamaka worked hard because she remembered hunger, she remembered mockery, she remembered pain, and she never wanted to return there again. Back in Asaba, many of the educated girls were not living the perfect life people expected. Emala graduated with good grades but couldn't find a job. The economy was tough. Years passed, still no stable job, still no husband. Many other girls faced the same thing. Some had degrees, but no opportunity. Some were prayerful, but life still didn't go as planned. Slowly, the women who mocked Chiamaka began to feel ashamed. One day, Mrs. Emeka told her daughter, "I taught you to look down on people. I made you believe education makes you better than others. But education without compassion is empty." 2 years after her wedding, Chiamaka returned to Asaba, but not to show off. She came with Obinna, and they opened something powerful, a free vocational center for young girls who dropped out of school. They taught sewing, hairdressing, catering, computer basics. Chiamaka stood in front of the girls and said, "I know what it feels like to be called useless, but I'm here to tell you your past is not your end. You can still become something." The same women who once mocked Chiamaka now respected her. Some apologized, and Chiamaka forgave them because she understood something they didn't understand before. Nobody is useless. Some people are only missing support, opportunity, and love. Chiamaka's story teaches us, stop mocking people. You don't know what they survived. Life is unpredictable. Don't be proud. Education is important, but it is not a guarantee of success. A person's value is not their past, but their heart. Kindness can rebuild what suffering destroyed. Because in this life, the person you laugh at today might be the person you admire tomorrow. And most importantly, God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't make sense.